Welcome everybody, it's Unstoppable Stilazzi with another Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition Age of Pirates mod map overview. So, here we are with the new map already. This time we're doing something very different than what we've seen in the past. If you've seen the other sort of city maps that this mod does, they've all been in Europe, you know? Pelé, Versailles, Venice, Bohemia, otherwise known as Prague, and then, of course, the Florence and Rome sort of warfare map we've seen recently. But now we finally get something in the New World, you know? Quite a substantial city, too. The capital of the Aztecs here. The blood of Tenochtitlan. I don't know the Aztec language, but that's the only way I know how to pronounce it. I'll just call it the Aztec capital. If you are from the region and you've known what the actual capital is called pronunciation-wise, definitely tell me in the comments, but otherwise I'll just call it the capital of the Aztecs. So, in the blood of the capital of the Aztecs, you play as one of two sides. You are either the defenders, aka the capital of the Aztecs, Cuauhtémoc, Montezuma, whatever you want to call it, or you are the attackers, Hernan Cortez and the conquistadors invading the capital. So, if you're the defender, you got one primary goal. You're given a timer and you need to survive without getting destroyed for as long as that timer is not zero. Once the timer reaches zero, you win. If you're the attackers, you're doing quite the opposite. You're starting at the coastline of the lake here, surround the capital, and you either have to go by sea and attack there, attack here, or you can follow these land bridges that goes through this trade route here, this land trade route. See how the land trade route here, the white, starts here and goes all the way up here. There's bridges here that you can do for that. Just figured I'd point that out before we go into the map itself. Also, one more important point is you're given only certain civs that you can do on this map if you're using the recommended settings, of course. So, obviously, Aztecs would be allowed. So would the Spaniards. Mexicans, hey, you could simulate maybe the Mexican-American War with this, since, I guess you could consider the capital of the Aztecs. So it would be Mexico City, even though a lot of that lake was drained in the making of that capital. But, that's something I would say to developers, actually. It's sort of a side tangent. Why don't you actually add in for fun, like the United States to this list? So we could simulate Mexico versus the United States in the Mexican-American War. It would look a little far-fetched, but I think it would be funny. But getting back to the main point, normally you would play Aztecs as the defenders, but I did find something pretty cool. If you play a European civ like British, Dutch, Portuguese, Spaniards, or even the sort of North American culture, Mexicans, the map does sort of adapt to that and will replace buildings that are sort of useless to you with ones that you can actually use. So I think we'll just do Aztecs here for the visual appeal, but I just wanted to point that out, that the map is flexible for that. Also note that this is still in the beta process, thus no AI support for right now. As somebody who's trying to show you the map, how it works, all the cool things in it, that's good for me. That's really good for me. Because do you remember the tragedy of the last one I did? I sat there yapping for so long that the AI actually destroyed me. And I couldn't show you anything or click on anything anymore. That was so sad, right? Thankfully, the bot here is going to be so sleepy and lazy that we'll actually be able to do our job here, So let's get right into it as the defenders. Whoever the bot is doesn't matter. It could be another Aztec for all we know. Yeah. Definitely. I just wanted to show you this map now in the early infancy of it because it's just such a cool, insane map. You're not going to believe this when you see it. This is an insane project they did here. They keep outdoing themselves every time with these map projects of them. Every time. Yeah. So here we are in sort of the center of the city. Your town center is here. You're also given a market. And we need to start explaining some of these structures so you understand them. So this is an American citadel. Basically, it's a fort for you to defend the city with. There's many more of these in the city as well, so this is not just the only one. As far as functionality, it acts like a regular fort. You can receive your shipments here. It does have a ranged attack, but it can also train units. It can train the units in your roster, namely your infantry, cavalry, and grenadier type units. If you're playing the British here, for instance, you would have hussars, dragoons, musketeers, longbows. So it does adapt to that, by the way. So, you know, you don't have to play the Aztecs to do really good here. You could play as any of the civilizations allowed here, and it will totally support you, 100%. On top of training your normal roster, you can also train the native units here. So you can train the Aztec Jaguar Warrior and the Aztec Eagle Warrior here. So the Aztec natives you see on the campaign maps, those kind. So that's pretty cool. Moving along here, at this point you get a war hut and a noble hut if you're the Aztecs. And then you get two war hut. Get a noble hut and a war hut over here. I found if you play as the British or one of the Europeans, though, you'll get a barracks here, a stable here, and then you'll get, I believe, two barracks here, if I'm not mistaken. So it does, again, it does adapt to the civ that you're playing, which I think is really cool, right? Because I guess if you wanted to sort of role play a bit, you could play as the conquistadors trying to defend off the Aztec army after, you know, Montezuma dies in the capital, you know how that all goes. So yeah, if you wanted to simulate that, you could totally do that too here. Yeah. But either way, there's some trade routes here that you need to be aware of. There's the one I mentioned before going into the map that starts all the way on the shore of the lake over here. Goes right across the bridge. See all the cool statues, by the way. And you get two sockets in the city for it. You can build on this one over here, and then you can build on this one over here. So imagine there's a lot of players trying to attack you, right? As the defender, hypothetically, you got more trading posts that you can work with because you're going to get two of them, whereas your enemies would probably have to split it between one for each of them. So as an individual player, you're going to be getting a lot more stockpile from that by itself, which is pretty cool. And then there's another trade route too that we need to talk about. So see where these Twilight canoes are going? Yeah, there's trade on this side as well. You can build a trading post here, and you can build a trading post here. So you get a lot of spots to build trading posts on this map, which is really awesome, you know. They really paid attention to this map and in all sorts of interactive stuff to the city. And we're just getting started right now. This is like the foundational stuff. We haven't even gone into the four sectors of the city yet, which you should know about when you're playing as the defenders. There's about four sockets or districts. Notice the four sockets here. This is what you have to protect. Once you lose all four of these sockets, you lose, and you have to protect it within this time limit over here. So keep at least one of the sockets alive in order to win the game within that time limit. Yep. So I'm just going to leave that there. You're fine with that, right? By the way, there is a bunch of resources over here you can collect. You got turkeys, you got berries, you got trees, and you got gold mines too. You know, you don't have to throw that gold to the bottom of the lake just yet, if you can defend well. But let's go through the four sockets or districts. So up here is the gold district. And the gold district has gold in it. So you get a gold mine here, a gold mine here, a gold mine here, a gold mine here, gold mine here, and a gold mine here. So there's a lot of mining capabilities in this part of the city here. So if you need coin, this is where you want to come to, right? And there's some other cool structures here too to help with coin, namely this one, the city treasury. So basically it just trickles coin to you, just like a Dutch bank would. So that's pretty awesome. Over here you got a trading post. this is one of your quote-unquote sockets that you have to defend, pretty much. Yes, you can delete it if you're just so inclined, but I wouldn't do that because, yeah, you have to kind of protect these things at all costs, so I wouldn't do that. Overall, it acts as a Aztec native site, so you can train your jaguar warriors here and your eagle warriors. And it has all the technologies, too. It has, your Aztec warrior societies for the veteran upgrade and then the guard upgrade, of course. You also got Aztec initiation, Aztec chinampa, as well as Aztec chakra recipes. These are technologies that are already in the vanilla game, so I'm not going to kind of repeat those. If you want to know more about those techs, just go look at, Wikia for Age of Empires 3, and you should be able to learn about that. And then, of course, you got the guard upgrade here. And notice how many of these you can make as the defenders. You can have a build limit of 48, and that's before you add any sort of card that improves your native warrior build limit in. So the reason that is, of course, is you got 4 districts, so you got 4 of these trading posts active at any given time, assuming they're not being destroyed. So you got a lot of protectors in the city, not just your normal army, but lots of jaguar warriors and eagle warriors too to help defend you. So that's pretty insane. And then, of course, you got Zapotec Garland Moors too to upgrade these units even further. Also, it goes a bit further than that. Notice this here, Aztec Influence. Extends city influence, allows you to train new units, buildings, and provides you completely new techs and shipments. Improves Aztec units build limit. So, yeah, this is something that already existed on the Aztec Gold Map. It's a map that's been around for quite a while on Age of Pirates, and I think I've done a gameplay for you on it. Basically, instead of, this big awesome city, it's just like a little patch of grass that you can sail across from. It's actually pretty similar to this concept, except there's not all these fancy rules and stuff. So, yeah. But either way, the main idea is this is a big button that lets you get more stuff. Now you can start to train these citizen of the capital city of the Aztecs. So these are just regular villagers. They don't cost any pop, just a build limit, which is cool. Notice how your jaguar warrior limit in particular goes up a whole lot, so that's pretty good. Now, for this district in particular, this tech is really important. Aztec Gold. It improves your mining rate by 40%. So you're going to be able to eat through all this gold very quickly with that. Also, you got the naval of the world. This lets you ally up with an additional power to help you out with stuff, which is really neat. And I'm also going to get some resources so we can play around with it right now. Just 1 second. There we go. Also, this is important. Holy Fleet. Spawns 1 Aztec ritual canoe on each side of the lake and allows you to train them in your dock. So these are like a... Also, I'm going to get this so we can research faster. Pretty much. Yep. There we go. So these are a new boat you can get as these Aztec natives. Basically a strong attack, very efficient for fishing, and especially whaling. Can detect stealth units like subs. So, yeah. They appear on another map where they have the inventors on it, so yeah, they can detect subs, which is really neat. And they have a pretty good combat stat as well, so you got that. Here's our little embassy wagon here, the native consulate traveler. And from it we can pick a particular ally. We can either go with the Zapotecs, Jesuits, or the Mayans. I'm just going to go with, I don't know, I'll go with the Mayans. And it contains all their technologies and units and everything, so that is that. Moving along, though, let's check out the other districts really quick, because we don't have a whole lot of time to work with, obviously. This is the religious district, so you got a Firepit here. Yeah. Remember how the Definitive Edition developers got rid of the Firepit for some reason? Yeah, it's back. And you got different dances you can do on it. So you got the XP dance. This will generate experience pretty much like that. If you pick this one, the rainbow dance, it spawns resource crates, which is pretty cool. Yep, so we'll do that one now. This one will produce Aztec warrior priests, and this one will produce Aztec skull knights. Also, if you go with the big bun here, lake ceremony spawns a war canoe on each side of the lake, unlocks a new type of ceremony that allows you to spawn canoes continuously, so that's pretty awesome. So yep, basically this one will spawn canoes over here, and also spawn one over here too, if you have that dance active. So yep, I'll just show you this one. Get one skull knight, and then this one will just spawn canoes. Also notice 2 Aztec temples here. These ones are more economic, so they can generate food, coin, and wood, and XP. In the combined mode, this one will specialize more in coin, this one more in wood, and this one more in food. Food Festival improves the food rate. Fire Festival improves the wood rate. And Jewelry Expedition improves the coin rate. So there's that. Also, let me see if I'm missing anything here other than that. Oh, yep, you got the Aztec main temple. Heals nearby units. Also generates XP. So you got important text here. The Foundation of Heaven. All convertible city resource buildings trickle more stuff. So these buildings are more efficient. Walls of the capital of Aztecs. Improves all walls, towers, all that sort of stuff. And then you got Informers, which temporarily gains opponent's line of sight. So now we can see the enemies attacking us over here now. That's pretty cool. And this big button here spawns 7 extra Aztec native warriors in every district you control. So yeah, it's really good for defense. So you get stuff over here, over there, and everywhere. Yep. So moving along, this is the food district. And you got the forest shrine here, which you can switch between food, wood, and coin pretty much. Yep. Actually, this is the wood district now that I see it, yeah. Because notice here there's the Aztec Forester building, which trickles just wood for you. So this is the wood part of the city. And there's a lot of trees here, as you can imagine, to pick up wood at. So if you're out of wood, you probably want to come over here. Just saying. Yep. Also some bighorn sheep here too for you to hunt, which is pretty cool. And the last district, we haven't gone over the food one. So here you got sheep. And you got fields, and you can switch between food and coin, which is pretty cool. You can also upgrade your farm and plantation upgrades here if you haven't already, which is pretty awesome. Do that. Also here, since it's sort of a farm, you can also get the big button that lets you get the Skull Knights, Tezcatlipoca worship. So it sort of acts like an actual farm in that sense of the Aztecs, which is pretty neat. Also, you got granaries here. Granaries can trickle food, and they can train sheep, and they can fan sheep too. So if you are out of food, this is where you want to come to in the city for some more maize, right? And one thing you'll notice on the outskirts of your city in all areas is you got lots of these native outposts. So basically, these are just towers to protect your city with, right? You got them over there, you got some over here, and yep, you got them really on the periphery of your entire city here, so that's something that you should be kind of aware of when you're defending, I would say. Also, in terms of general defense, you got a gate over here, and then you get a gate over here too, and then surrounding walls and everything. You can upgrade it with Bastion, by the way, so get that, and then you get even more protection. Right. I'm just trying to see if I forgot anything. Yep, the city market, kind of similar to the one we've seen on the European maps. This will trickle XP, food, wood, and coin. So just another resource building that you can utilize. Right. So as you can see, this is a pretty vibrant city. All sorts of stuff going on. Quite intriguing, actually. Right. And obviously, if you're playing the defenders here, you're going to have to be aware of all this stuff, and that's why I wanted to show it to you. So you know, if you have to defend on this map, you know exactly what to do, right? And by the way, when you build train posts on the trade route, it has these cool aesthetics to it. So it's not just, you know, the normal European looking train posts. It's this sort of decal to it, which is pretty awesome. Yeah. Also, make sure you get that native consulate out from the Aztecs early so you can get some more defenders. In this case, the Mayans with their javelineers. You can get a pyramid here from them too. And it also acts like the other ones you have here as well. So this one will also be able to train your regular military as well as your Aztec units here, which is pretty cool. So yeah, just another defense that you can utilize. And it makes a lot of synergy with the Mayans and the Aztecs on this map. So yep, so I think I've shown you just about everything I could, and look, we actually won this time. Isn't that awesome? It's really cool. So hopefully you enjoyed my little presentation here of the map. I wanted to show you as much cool stuff as possible here, pretty much. Right? And oh yeah, it looks like this ability can be used again, so totally make sure you remember that when you're doing this game. Up, and if that's it, we'll see you on the next map that we do for Age of Pirates. And eventually, once they do add the AI here, or if I can find some human participants, I will do a gameplay on this map too, so you can see what it's really like to be the defender here, and how painful it is. Because I think it's going to be real painful when we have a bot up here, 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 and here. Just saying. And one more little tidbit of a tip. If you are the attackers, you get some Jesuit sites out here too that you can utilize. You get one over here, and you get one over here. So don't worry if you're the attackers. You do get a little bit of help. Obviously, not as much as the defenders, but you do get a little bit of help from the Jesuits. Yeah, just saying. Alright, so I guess all I can say is see you on the next map. Sign off now.